Hello, this is Keith All, and in today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to create depth of field in this particular image. And just remember, and if you're an avid Photoshop user, you know there are multiple ways to do this. But I'm going to show you a way to do this using blur effect and also the gradient tool. So basically, depth of field, what does that mean? It just means that you're going to take the nearest point in a picture, which is in this particular picture, it's on the bottom, and there's a distance between here and the furthest point in the picture, which is back here on the top of the picture. In the distance between there, you determine, well, what should be in focus and what should be out of focus. So right now, everything is in focus here. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer, Control J on a PC to duplicate the layer, or you could have simply just dragged this bottom layer to the new layer icon that's down here in the layers panel, and it would create a new layer also. So our first step, we're going to blur this layer. So we're going to go up to Filter, Blur, and then we're going to use the Gaussian blur today. And you can see that it went out, the whole picture image is now slightly out of focus. You could create as much blur as you want. If you go up to 42, you could see how much blur it gave you. You could also bring it down and it will be slightly out of focus compared to what it was originally. But let's blur this up to like maybe 9. Let's see how that looks. So it is a blurry to some extent. So we're going to go with that. Click OK. Now our next step is we want to create a point where a portion of this image is in focus and portion of it will be out of focus. So we're going to make the bottom portion in focus, and as we go up to the top of the image, it's going to be out of focus. So one way to do this is we're going to create a layer mask on this duplicated layer. So we're going to click on the layer mask icon. We created the layer mask, and now we're going to use the gradient tool to determine what's in focus, what's out of focus. Now, before I do this, you want to make sure that your foreground and background color is black and white. The reason is if we're going to use a layer mask, black reveals or black erases a portion of the image. In other words, it takes away from the image. Basically, it erases a portion of that image if we're doing this on a layer mask. White reveals the image. So another way to put it is that black on a layer mask hides the layer that contains the mask. So in other words, when we do the gradient, you're going to see that this area is going to come in focus because black is going to hide this out of focus portion here because we're on this layer and this layer contains the layer mask. So let's go ahead and draw the gradient, and you'll see what I mean. So let's grab the gradient tool. We're going to go up here and we're going to make sure that we select the preset that's foreground to background. In other words, foreground is black, background is white. So we're going to click OK. Now watch what happens when I draw the gradient. You could start anywhere. and just draw it. And as you can see, this area is now in focus. In other words, black erases this layer, okay, and it reveals what's underneath this layer. Up here, remember, we're going from black to white, so white reveals this layer here. So in other words, it keeps it the same. It does not erase the blur in this area because this area is white. As you can see from the layer mask, right here, bottom left, which is this area, is black, and upper right is all white. So let's review this again. Black on a layer mask hides the layer that contains the mask, so you could see what is underneath that layer. So white, on the other hand, white on a layer mask, which is right here, white is on this layer mask in this area of the image, shows the layer that contains the mask. So in other words, this layer is out of focus. So in this area of the image, it's going to show that blurriness. So let's go ahead and turn off this layer. And as you can see, now that it shows the entire layer that is underneath here. If I turn it back on, remember, white reveals this layer. Black, on the other hand, reveals the layer that's underneath this layer. So hopefully that will give you an idea on layer mask and what black and white does on a layer mask. And also it shows you how you could create depth of field, meaning depth of field is, in this case, this area is all in focus, and as you go up here to the upper right, it's out of focus. So hopefully you learned something today, and remember to subscribe to my channel, and if you haven't done so already, click on the bell notification so you always get updated when a new video is uploaded. And also please like, share, and comment because it helps the community out. It helps people searching for new ideas and new techniques when this video gets viewed and commented on a lot. So thanks again for stopping by. You have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.